Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another exciting episode of All About Life. In today's segment, we are going to talk about something that I see a lot of individuals on social media really getting conversations started, okay? We see that a lot of people, men and women, are talking about how relationship dynamics shift as people get older in general, okay? So now I'm gonna break it down, all right? The point of this video is why as men get older, their options increase. While on the other hand, why when women get older, their options decrease. So essentially, what happens in the dating dynamic between men and women, simply put, women start off here, okay? When they turn 18, they're legal, they're fresh, their options become the whole pool of men. We're talking about now you have that, instead of having just, let's say, access to about 25% of the men, now from 25% of the men, you have access to now 100% of the men. We're talking about guys in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I mean, people that are damn near about to die, okay? And I don't want to be too crazy with it, but that's the reality, right? While a man, on the other hand, right, when you're young, when you're around that 14, 15, whatever age when you might have started getting sexually active, you understand that your options is as good as what you can get, right? Even as a boy, you understand like, okay, I like a lot of girls, but not all the girls like me, all right? Some girls like me, but not all of them. While with you, you'll notice that you like more girls than what girls actually like you, okay? Now, when you hit 18, does anything dramatically change? No. You might have now access to cougars, right? As a young man, you might have access to now women that are in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on and above. But those are not going to be the women that you crave, that you desire. Because as a man, we know what we desire, and that is the attraction of what we see. You know, me looking straight at you guys, that whatever I see, if it's appealing to me, I'm going to be attracted to it. While on the other hand, if you're not appealing, I'm going to be turned off. I'm not going to want to have any sexual relationships with you, okay? Relations. So we understand that as a man, nothing really does improve when you turn 18, right? You now have a few more access to things, but nothing dramatically changes. While for a woman, her existence, there's a big change, okay? Now, when you get to the age of 21, it gets even crazier for women, right? Because now women could go to clubs, women can now go to places that they didn't have access to legally. Not saying that a lot of you girls are not doing it beforehand. And for guys, yeah, now you also have access to a wider amount of areas you can go to. But again, does the options really change? Not so much, right? You might be in the right place, right time where you might meet up with a girl. You might be able to hook up with a girl at the moment if you're attractive enough at that point in your life. But typically speaking, you're not going to have everything figured out. Your money isn't going to be the greatest. You know, you're not going to have much long-term investments that allow you to become a higher value man in society. So you know, again, you could be doing okay for the amount of women that you can attract, but typically you're not at the best, all right? You're not the best point of your life. Now, as we see, when women keep going up in age, right? As soon as they hit that 25, 26 margin, you start to notice that they start to kind of stabilize. So women are kind of going up a trajectory. And then once they hit their mid-20s to later 20s, there's like a moment where they're just staying here, right? So from here to here. Now, as a woman starts to enter their 30s, she'll notice that she starts to go down, right? And what I mean by that is that the dating game and relationships start to go downhill. The options that she had when she was younger, she no longer has. And a lot of content creators talk about this, but it's pretty simple, and I'm breaking it down I'm simplifying it as best as I can here, okay? So while you're young, you're going up. 18 to around 25, you're going straight up. Meaning your options are getting better, you're seeing the type of guys you can attract, you're able to date guys that are broke, you're able to date guys that are rich, you're able to date guys that are young, you're able to date guys that are old. You have all ranges of what type of men you can attract, right? But like I said, once you hit around that 25, your mid-20s and later 20s, you start to stabilize. And then at that point, once you hit your 30s, you start to tank. And the older you get, the more you tank. And once you hit around your late 40s, 50s, 60s, you're pretty much out the dating market. Meaning that now you only have access to guys that are way older than you. We're talking about guys that are already now in their 70s, 80s, 90s. Or you have to settle for guys that you know damn well, if you were 10 years younger, 20 years younger, you would never even look their way. And that's the reality for females, okay, in today's society. Now for men, you start ground zero, okay? You start at the bottom. If you're an attractive guy, you might start here. You're not gonna start all the way here as a woman and then continue to skyrocket, because women start off at a high standing and then they skyrocket. It's like a shuttle getting ready to go all the way to space, okay? Which is why we have and we deal with inflated egos from women. Women have the craziest egos as a whole. You'll find some men that have crazy egos, but that's because they got a lot going for them in most cases. But when it comes down to women, your average girl will have a high influx ego because she realizes she could fuck damn near any man. And that is very true. As long as she's young, she's fertile, she's average in looks, she has some tits, she has some ass, she's gonna have options. And she's gonna have more options than you, buddy. But anyways, going back to the men. As a guy, you start off ground zero. And again, if you happen to be attractive, if you happen to be born in a hierarchy of a family, meaning that your family is doing well financially, you get points. But those points don't really get you up here. And if you're athletic, you get even more points. And if you happen to actually cover all these big points, then you start off. But you're the rarity. As a guy, you're in like the top 10% or better as a start off point if you have money to your name at a young age, if you happen to be very good looking, and if you happen to have something going for you, whether it's you already playing ball, it's you in some kind of athletic sport where you can look good, you look fit, or your parents already kind of put you in a position where you can have success, okay? But most guys, we don't fall into that parameter. 90% of us are not in that bracket. So what happens is the majority of us, we start off at ground zero, right? Some of us might be, again, a little handsome. Some of us might have some money, from passed down from our parents or so on and so forth. And some of us might actually have a little job or career that we're about to get in and embark our new journey of life, right? But most of us don't. So again, you start off ground zero. Now, as you get older, so we'll say from 21, you're still here, right? You go on to 25, 26, your mid-20s, you start to see you move. Your trajectory starts to move up. But you're here. You're at ground zero. You start to move a little, right? But unlike women, when they get to that mid-20s, they start to kind of settle in at whatever beauty standards they have, right? Whatever they got going on in their life, they start to simmer down. But no. Granted, this is what really goes on. As you get older, when you hit now 30s, you're going up. You're going up. And now this is the interesting study that a lot of people, and you guys can actually Google articles when it talks about men and women and age brackets, you'll see that a lot of people are finally realizing, right? Out of all these years, we're finally realizing that when a man is 30 and a woman is 30, they're about the same level. But the difference is the man is going up, the woman's going down. Notice, right? Because like I said, around 25, in their mid-20s, they start to stabilize. So they're already here. They're at the top. But they're here stabilizing. You are on your way up. Now she goes to her 30s, she starts to shift. And you're still up. So now you guys meet. So you'll see a lot of 30-year-olds being able to get together. But what you'll notice is women that are 30, that are hitting their early 30s or very late 20s, they try to settle down with these guys. Why? Because they notice, and this is, again, female nature, it's instinct. A lot of this stuff doesn't even happen with people like, ooh, I'm planning on cuffing this guy that's gonna go up and up and up and away, right? It doesn't work that way. Some you might, like if you find a gold digger, they're out there, but there aren't so many. Most women, they realize that they are going down, right? They start looking at themselves. Women are your biggest critics, okay? And women critique one another and themselves the harshest. That's why you can have a woman that is gorgeous, still feeling insecure about her body, still feeling insecure about her looks and how people perceive them. They're more worried about how people view them than they are themselves. And that's a little crazy. It's like, oh, I don't look so good, even though a lot of guys are like, you are fine as hell. You're like my top pick as a woman. But the girl, she may not be able to see it, even though she's getting constant validation from multiple men. okay? And other individuals as well. But like I said, when you hit the 30s, early 30s, you start to see this. Now, as a guy gets like 35 and 40, he's going up. The girl goes 35, 40, she starts going down. So now this inflated ego that this woman have built up from her early teens to mid-teens to adulthood, when she was inflated because she started realizing, wow, like I have so much power, so many guys want me, she starts to realize that now guys are not looking her way, right? The young guys, the attractive guys that she was into, they're not looking her way, okay? And again, what happens is a lot of women, while they're young, they don't see the reality. They're living in the moment. I talk about that a lot on the channel, on this channel, where women typically are in the moment. That's why they can have a good thing going on and they'll drop it and go into another situation, not realizing that they actually had something better here, but they decided they're going to jump aboard someone else because maybe that instinctual attraction that they ran into, right? They just saw another guy, they had the hots for him, boom, they're not moving on to him, not realizing that they had a pretty good looking guy here. Maybe they started losing attraction somewhere because of behavior, which I talk a lot about this on this channel. Women are very fickle, okay? When they like you, but you could do things that will start to bring the attraction down. And at some point, they will get out. They'll hop out and you're as good as dead to them, okay? Because when women, you have to realize that attraction is the highest amount. Like, we talk about men being superficial, where all we are like just us viewing women and looking at the titties, the ass, the curves, the nice figure, the beautiful face. Yes, we are like that. That's just what it is. However, women are the same. Sometimes women, they'll look at a fine guy, the guy is talking that good game, you know, very hard to get. She doesn't know where she stands with the guy. She doesn't even know if the guy likes her or not. Because believe it or not, women, they feel that energy. And if a guy is very nonchalant with them, especially when they have attraction for him, it builds up even higher attraction. While they could have had a boyfriend on the side that they started losing attraction because the boyfriend is there. She already has him in her hand, but she doesn't have this guy. And she's starting to wonder about this guy. She's wondering if she can actually get with a guy like this, even though she might have already something of value, okay? And this happens a lot to younger women, okay? We're talking about women in their early 20s, mid-20s, sometimes even later 20s. Shit, I've seen them happen in their 30s, which that's a little crazy because they're already losing options at that point. But some women are so caught up on what they don't have that they don't realize what they actually do have, okay? So now, women start to become less attractive as they get older. Can they still look good? Yeah. That's why you might see a 40-year-old that looks great for her age, but she's not going to be your first pick. You might fuck her, right? You might hook up with her. You might even have a little, short-term relationship with her, right? And you're enjoying her company. But again, as a guy, whatever age bracket you are, whether you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or younger, you are not looking at this woman as someone that you're going to settle down, right? Most guys are not. Now, there will be the exceptions to the rule because there are some guys that haven't gotten attention. There are some guys that are struggling with women. They don't have those younger women after them. So what do? When they finally get an older woman to look their way, they try to hold on to the older woman, right? And that's where you'll find some guys that are much younger than the girl that they're dating, right? You might find a 25-year-old dating a 40-year-old or 45 or 50-year-old. And you're like, the hell? Like, this woman is literally, you're half her age. And what are you doing? The problem is that psychologically, this guy, unfortunately, he's damaged, right? He's damaged because he wasn't able to get the younger, attractive girls. And so now, when he finally got a woman that actually is showing him attention, he wanted to hold on to her, right? Something similar happened to me, but nowhere near that age disparity, right? When I was around 21, 22 years old, I met a woman that was already in her late 20s. She was 28 going on 29. And when I started hanging out with her, I started enjoying her company. She looked very good for her age. And I mean, that's still relatively young, right? This is where women start to decline. So she was already in that point where she was maintaining, right? She was maintaining her beauty. But when I met her, she was on the maintenance, which was still fine because she was still fire, right? But then as we progressed, I was with this woman for about 3 years. By the time she ended up leaving me for someone with higher value, she actually left me for an older man. We were still very attracted to one another, but hypergamy is something that you'll hear a lot on this channel and you'll hear on other platforms. and typically women want the bigger, better deal, right? Women want to advance to guys that they find better than you, all right? So if you were with a girl for any amount of time and she comes across a guy that's better than you in her mind, she's gonna leave you for that better guy if she has the availability to do so, right? If that guy is allowing her to monkey branch onto her. Most circumstances, guys, just to make this video as short as possible, the reason why men start to get better options and have a better successful dating life than women as they get older is because we become more valuable. That's the underlying definition. Our features look better. Older men typically have more chiseled down features, more defined features, because as you age, you'll notice that, your skin kind of sinks in with your bone structure. So you start to look more like your skeleton. And that's just the reality. The older you get, you're closer to looking more like your skeleton. But there are advantages when you're in your 30s and 40s as a man. It does make you look balanced out. It looks, now you have the sharp features while still having a sense of youthfulness, right? Now, as a guy, once you enter your 50s, 60s, 70s, in some cases, some men can maintain that attraction throughout their 50s, even sometimes through their 60s. But most men, they start to decay with age, and that happens to all life forms. It just is what it is. But for women start to decay faster because they're viewed upon their beauty. Women are viewed upon their beauty standards, right? So the prettier a woman, the more valuable she is to men in society. And I'm not saying that a girl with a career that's 40, 50, 60 or whatever, she can't be valuable, but she's not going to be valuable to a man who has sexual desire, right? She might be valuable to a man that needs financial stability, where this is why you find, again, older women with younger men, because it's not just that the men don't have the options of the younger women. Some men also decide, I'm going to bandwagon with a much older woman to get resources out of her, to live a better life. So they're basically doing what women typically do, right? Women get with older men out of the looks and the resources and all the perks that come along with it. So there are some men that follow that guideline as well. It does work both ways. It's just that you'll see it commonly used more for women going for older men than men going for older women. You'll see that more common on the women's spectrum. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This will show more insight if you are a little confused as to, while you're a young man, you notice, damn, women are not looking my way. I'm getting friend zoned, even though, like I said on this channel, you're friend zoning yourself. But you notice that women are not really as interested in you. And it sucks. It does suck when you don't have the options that you want or that you believe or think you deserve, right? While women, you see women getting everybody, right? You see women hooking up with the good-looking guys, the guys that have the money, the guys that have all these things going on for them. And you're like, well, damn, my dating life sucks and her dating life is amazing. But just realize as you get older, your dating life starts to improve, hers starts to decline. And like I said, around that 30 margin for men and women, that's where you see like the charts. If we had a graph, you'll see both of the lines start to intersect, right? Because men are on their way up, women are on their way down. And then as men approach their 40s, they're still skyrocketing, women are skyrocketing down. Because as they get older, they decline. And unfortunately for women will just continue to sink all the way past what they started off with. So women who started here that started to skyrocket, you'll notice that now as they're coming down, they break where they came down. When a woman hits her 50s, 60s, and so on and so forth, she was here, no, now she's below. She's ground zero or even below ground zero, if you know what I mean. Because she's on her way out, and I mean that physically, metaphorically, and in reality, the older you get, the closer you are to death. So she's on her way out. And that's just the reality for women, and that's the reality for you men. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. If you have any stories to share, I would love to hear them. I might even touch up on them on videos, future videos, if you would like me to do so. But thank you for watching, and as always, this channel is all about you. Catch you guys on the next video.